So Luke Strand is with me. He is the head coach coming off the Fall Classic. 1-1 win over Green Bay. The next day, a loss to Musketeer. But before we even jump into that, Luke, let's talk about general, your thoughts overall coming out of Pittsburgh and the experience.
I think the experience for ourselves was good. I mean, the travel was a beast. Broke up the trip by going to South Bend, skated at Notre Dame. That was a good experience for our guys. Had a look around there. Finished the trip, practice in Pitt on Thursday. Just let the guys, there's so many things to do. There's NHL heights and weights. There's league photos. There's all the rigmarole, I think, that goes along with all this. And then at the same time, you're trying to make it a business trip, which is sometimes gets stretched out. You've got family, you've got agencies, you've got schools, you've got everything else going on.
Kind of a grow as a team, though. I mean, we talked about you guys out in the woods or camping and stuff, but this one is enough getting organized, getting on time, getting structured that will get you going for the rest of the year.
It was good. I mean, the meetings and just getting guys, just a routine. It's you got to find a routine as a player. I think we do as a team, and then, we've got obviously plenty of opportunity here to continue to practice our road game. So it was a good start for us that way.
The other side, too, is there was a lot of NHL logos, a lot of NCAA logos. You saw absolutely everyone there. Did you see any difference in your players, or did you even talk about what to expect or what to feel like on the ice when all eyes are on you?
Yeah, we gave them a little bit of a heads up because that first game was at 10 in the morning, and it's not often you see every NHL represented by at least 2 staff members, if not 3, and then pretty much every Division I hockey club there as well. So the idea of the black coats in the top row, those aren't parents or cousins or
yeah.
those are all scouts. So I thought our guys handled that professionally well. And then after the game becomes the next routine because you've got to get into your training mind, and you walk out the door and there's 30 guys out there to interview as players.
Well, here you go. Here you have it. And speaking of Central Scouting, let's just jump into that before we even talk about the individual games itself, is Central Scouting came out with their report because these guys are going to be judged by Central Scouting, by the NHL, which all kind of comes together. And you have had some positive stuff coming out of this group, starting with a pretty darn good skater in Kelly and Kelly.
Yeah, I think Marcus deserved. He had a B rating. There's an ABC. A is considered to be a first-round pick. B is usually a 2 to 3 rounder, and then C is a 4 to 7. But you got to figure out that's someone's opinion that doesn't have their life on the line. Basically, these guys,
sure.
Central Scouting,
and it's a start too.
Yeah, Central Scouting is a service for the NHL that basically goes out, gets their arms around the whole draft class, and then sorts them accordingly. That's not an individual team's needs or preference or criteria. That's just a basis for them. So Marcus is a B, Passanen is a C, Brink is a C, and our affiliate Sam Stang is a C as well.
Well, it just shows you have at least some raw talent on there. Now, what those letter grades transpire to is up to the individual and the team.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a year ago, Kepke was not a letter until the last final ranking.
Oh, yeah. And he should have got that. But the thing about it is, if he's not seen here or there, or a scout saw them on his off day.
Yeah, totally. And then, that's... I think the Fall Classic gives that first rating maybe their last hurrah, per se, that they got to look at. But, it's a start for the guys. It's meaningless in a lot of ways because June's a long ways away.
Well, let's jump on these games now, and then we'll recap / preview on our first game. This was morning coffee and hockey. Hockey and coffee in the morning, that's always a good thing. The Musketeers, 5-3 victory over the Green Bay Gamblers. That was Friday morning. Tell me, what'd you see on film?
Well, we heavily outchanced them. I thought the way our start was phenomenal. Fordo scoring 30 seconds or whatnot in the game, following up with a 2-0 lead, trying to be a team that can play with the lead and really not change the type of game that you've got going. And we learned a valuable lessons. You're up 2-1, and then we give up a goal in the last minute of a period, which is there's a lot of kiss of death with giving up that goal. I mean, so I thought we figured out a way and bounced back, and at the same time we got pretty timely after that between saves and goals scored.
When they scored, it seemed like it was more mistake stretched you out a little bit, maybe when you were sneaking in a little bit, that kind of thing.
Well, their first goal, it's 26 seconds left in the period, and we're 4-on-4 hockey. We've got 4 guys in the rush.
And they're all inside the circles.
They have 2 guys behind us. We were so excited to be in that rush. So, when we get to the point where the scoreboard is our best coach and the clock and the time and the score itself, then all of a sudden we'll be taking some huge strides.
I looked at that matchup, and then the other one, by the way, great tape pass to Zabanet, who had pretty good speed.
Zabanet's got some giddy up. I mean, some line change mistake probably on our D there, just getting hung out, and he's got a breakaway ability, so they were able to seam him up the middle and play long. And moments like that, I think, are this time of year going to happen. It's probably your reaction to how it happens to you that matters more so than anything else.
Let's talk about the positives. And Marcus Kelly is a guy that we really got a good look at in this game. He had 2 goals. Pospisil was Mr. Feed on that one, but I put up, I don't know if they'll get it or not, but I put his backhander top goal as a play of the week, because that was just nasty.
A lot of players would have taken that rebound and shoved it right back into the goalie's gut, laying on the ice, and
just and he waited.
He paused, he waited, he held, he pushed, and then all of a sudden now he's still on his backhand, and he doesn't flub it in there. He fires at roof with the backhand. But that took some poise, and obviously the other goalie scores there with Poss making a cross-seam pass on a one-timers. 1, the pass is terrific, but 2, the release. It was Poss stung that puck across there for a pass, and Marcus got all of it to bury that puck.
Yeah, he put it to someone who's going to bury the puck, but Martin Pospisil in both. You can look at both games. He can score, but boy, he likes creating more, doesn't he?
He does. It's his natural's probably his passing. We're
trying to let him to shoot.
We're after him about shooting, because I think it becomes a passer's greatest weapon is actually shooting, because now all of a sudden they've got to bite on both. They can't just lean on pass, and he's got great vision to see, and he makes some brilliant plays that way. And then you have Brinker, who, in my opinion, is just a time and space machine. It takes more than one guy to take him off the puck, and someone's always open. Yeah,
I was really impressed with Bobby Brink, but I was impressed last year as a young player, but now that's what's so fun and fun for when we finally have a home game, if the fans can see him, how they that's true, how they will see the transformation from last year and the hard work they put in over the summer to this year, because Pospisil's a better player. Bobby Brink is a better player. They're a harder player. Parker Ford. I can go over this list and see these guys. Matt Miller, I thought, played terrific. Johns was terrific last year's poise. I'm missing a Babbage. All the way around, they're the next step.
They are, and I think they took on some personal challenges. The exit interviews happened a year ago, and they didn't shy away from what the hard work was going to do for them and against them. At the same time, they're being rewarded for it right now in the early going.
Well, the next day, let's get into the next day, because yes, you guys get down 4-0, and that stinks. But positive, you guys came back. Should have been tied, but it wasn't, and you came up short. They got one laid, and they got the power, the late power play and stuff like that. What happened in the first period, 6-3 loss that you scored? You guys gave up 3 goals in 3 minutes, the last 3 minutes of the first period, and that's a killer, obviously.
Yeah, it was. I thought our first start of that game was in our favor. Mm-hmm. I thought we had a good push.
And they were one and done.
They were one and and then the period kind of got lulled. A couple penalties here or there. I think obviously his blown coverage, backdoor tapping goals. There's 2 of them there. I'm sure at least one of them Crosby wants back, and the other one is if you get a great save right there, maybe it's a different story. But at the same time, we were in no favor of what Crosby had to put out there, because you cannot allow pucks cross crease, backdoor, tap in, just gross.
No one pick up. Yeah, and you said Crosby might want one back, but that's a great goaltender saying that.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? That's a great goaltender saying that. It would have been a great save to want one back. Yeah. So I'm by no skin off his back, and that's, at the end of the period there where we pull him out, I won't go verbatim on the conversation, but we can't do it to him twice. So get him out and let him see the game, and at the same time let Sibes get in there and get his feet wet.
I know a lot of people will go, gosh, okay, you pull the goalie, he must be having a bad night. But I think you were looking for just a change in general for the whole entire team,
It was.
not the position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the goaltender position wasn't the issue. It was the idea of the style and the way we were playing in front of them. And then, you want a little shot in the arm with Sibes, and then, then we score. And then we get a little bit of momentum going, I think, to crawl back in the game the way we did.
A lot of learning lessons in these games because I think it's pretty obvious the shine on this team and how good they can be. But like any team, have to play the same way the whole game. Otherwise, they'll burn you.
Yeah,
we're too good.
We spoke about the whole 60 minutes of hockey and what this league is about, and it doesn't take a lot to take a foot off the gas and to pay for it. Not only just maybe you're not generating yourself, but you're giving up momentum to the other group, and we oftentimes talk about quickest 2 goals forward in a game is one of our game objectives every night, and they got those 2 goals. They were tighter than we could get 2 goals back, and 4 is a pretty big number. I did really appreciate the guys' response. I mean, I don't think they really had a choice at that point, but at the same time, you still got to go out and do it, and they did it.
Guys came back with 3.
We came back with 4.
Came back with 4. Let's just cut to the chase. Came back with 4.
Yep.
Parker, Ford, Pospisil, and then who got the other one that didn't get registered?
Nilsson.
That was Nilsson, that's right, because his line mate was getting cross-checked. It was very confusing. Nilsson taps it in for a goal. Light comes on, it's pointed at, and they come up and put Miller in the box, and then
goalie interference.
Goalie interference, which is going to drive me bonkers on that. I wish we could have some kind of structure on
the part that drives me bonkers is now he gets pulled out of the box saying there was no penalty, but they don't accept the goal.
They can't, What did he blow the whistle? But he pointed.
Not until after the puck went in was there a whistle.
Okay.
He was too busy pointing and having his arm up to blow a whistle.
If he decided it wasn't a penalty on him, how about deciding it was a penalty on them?
Any
of those work?
I actually thought that's what his partner was going to pull out, and so it is what it is, and obviously it's a rattling moment, but we're going to go through those moments, and we talked about it again today in our meeting. Like, we got to put ourselves in spots where the referees are not a factor, and that's on us.
It is, but boy, that momentum was going in one direction at that time. Yeah, I mean, that train was going.
It was
going. That ice was leaning. A lot of things. I just say you win that game, and it would have been one heck of a comeback from a 4-goal deficit. But it didn't, and oops.
Yeah, you know what? There's lessons abundance there, but the response is a big thing. I thought the leadership was a big thing. I thought the idea that we found a way to, you get pass on the score. You're asking big moments out of big players, and there's Fordo and Pospisil scoring goals for us. It's huge.
One other thing, Pospisil only saw the box once.
Let's keep that to a low roar.
Well, I'm just saying,
really
because things get rough, and he pushed a few guys around.
Yep, no, but he kept his cool. I thought
kept his cool, and that was really awesome to see.
Yep.
Because he's on the ice, you guys are successful.
That's on Brinker. Brinker's in charge of pass.
Poor Brinker. He's got to worry about his game and his crazy line mates.
Yep.
But it's all right, because that crazy line mate might feed him for a beautiful one-timer.
It's going to happen. That's the plus of having him on the ice with him. So, you know what? I thought Poss had a good weekend. That discipline showed up. I know that the guys there from Calgary that were there were impressed with both sides. Like, he was still as rugged, he was still physical, he was still all those things, but way more in between the whistles and way more deliberate with intent about when it happened and when it didn't.
So the Musketeer Coaches Show, it's right here at Bob Rose Point After. Remember, just one game this week. It's on the road at Green Bay, coming up on Friday, 7:05, 6:45 with the pregame. We'll have all the action on KMNS, iHeartRadio, of course, Hockey TV, B-Dubs as well. As always, a great place. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS. here at Bob Rose Point After. It's where good times gather. Always a great time. Before or after, if you think about having a bite before or after the hockey game, it's a great place here, North End Zone, and everywhere West Side Pizza as well. We're talking Musketeer hockey with the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers. That's Luke Strand. One game this week, one game next week, and we go from there. But it's altogether, you looked at film. What's the process? Give us kind of a process of an outsider that you go individually, especially early on with the guys on, cleaning things up or what you liked or what you didn't like.
Yeah, I think if you could take a circle and make it 100%, your actual gameplay is probably 20% of it. Your video recognition about what happened is probably a good another 20% of it. Your meeting time, what it means to the team, is probably another 10. Your practice time probably fills up another 30, and then your pre-scout is going to fill up another 10. So in the big cycle of things, all of a sudden you've got, the game is huge, but what you can take out of the game, what you can teach individually, positionally, situationally, for the team ends up being a huge concept. Right now, especially early, it's and the other part is it's kind of neat to see the guys recall. Like, they remember way more than what people give them credit for. You can start to play a little clip and stop it, and
they remember.
Quite a few guys can tell you what's going to happen next.
That's good.
It is good. I mean, that's part of growth, and
as long as they remember what they learned in pre-scout, and then
yeah, I mean, then you take that further, and you go in individual video, and kind of a fail-forward mentality, where if you're seeing a mistake, can we fix a mistake, and then can we not repeat the mistake? If a new mistake happens, that's part of growing. But when the same one happens over and over, then now we got a problem.
Well, you got three bodies that are there. Obviously, Ryan DeRocher is a guy who's a video guy. You've done 1.5 million videos. I assume Abs has too.
Yep.
So do you guys kind of divide it out and look at it, or different positions? Kind of give us what you guys are doing with that.
Great question. So we have game objectives about where we want to. We have 10 game objectives between scoring chances, even special teams, goals for, even special teams, goals, first goal, quickest 2 goals. Formulas, basically odd man against the number we give up. Shots.
The cybermetrics for hockey.
Well,
in a way,
there's a sweet spot. I mean, like, if we're talking hits, so now we're talking checks is about separating man and puck. All of a sudden, if you get in the 40, 50, 60 range, that tells you don't have the puck. It's great. It might feel physical. It might feel great, but that means you're chasing the darn thing around all night. If you find that sweet spot, and currently our sweet spot seems to be around 30. If you're getting a 30 check performance, we're going to have the balance of pressure, I think, in our favor, but at the same time, when they do, we're striking them off the puck.
How physical are you? You seemed more physical against Green Bay. I thought Muskegon might have been more physical than you guys.
Yeah, I think Muskegon's bigger. I think they are more physical. I think there's a balance. I think when physicality takes you out of position, then what good is it? Yep. And then there's the other part where I thought we were first on a lot of pucks and against Muskegon because of our speed, where they had to be physical against us.
And I can compare you to all the other teams, and not just one or the other. You're going to be a higher-end team when it comes to skill.
Skill, skating, I think speed, pressure, if we can put those into categories, that's kind of where we're going to fall into. And we are definitely going to get our hits. We are definitely going to get our separation. Some of our guys skate too well, close on people so well. You got to watch like a Fordo. There's Fordo. He wants to hit anything and kill anything, not just hit it. But now a dinged-up Parker Ford, because he went out of the way to try to put someone in the fourth row, does us no good.
No, but he's going to go take a puck.
He's going to get every puck. Yeah. He's a junkyard dog.
It's not a 50-50 battle when he goes into the corner.
Yeah,
right?
And that's kind of a strike mentality about our group. I think there's, I was proud of some things, the way we did some things around our goalie, protecting each other, taking care of that part. But then, there's those energy categories like block shots. Like, it's great if you eat a lot of pucks and block a lot of shots, but that also says the other team's got your pucks. So
that's true. What was it, Kara that took it for the team? They ended up getting a power play goal, but that was taking it for the team.
Huge,
half.
Big time. I mean, you get the Green Bay, you get the one he blocked by Crenson in the chest. You get Carey eating pucks. It's just, it's a good thing. I think when we find, like I said, that balance. So after the game, we've got our game objectives to get through. We've definitely got our criteria about what we want to get through with scoring chances, and then we want to get into teaching.
One other guy, and we can talk about all the goal scoring with Kelly possible. So, and we've talked about a lot of guys, and we'll probably bring up a number of other guys. I just thought that stood out to me in both games, and I thought maybe even more on Saturday was Albin Nilsson. I mean, it's just rare that you get a find that late in the ball game. Just shows up at camp. I mean, he's probably been scouted, but I think everyone expected him to be in Sweden, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure, all the way across the board. I think as a 98 born, a 20-year-old,
is he worth it if he's going to go play pro?
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
Didn't want to sign over there, wants to go the school route. He's already played some games by loan on pro, which still makes him college eligible. He's got some... He'll have some NCAA forfeiture as far as like games he's going to have to sit, but not the first, not the last guy in that predicament.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Nils plays a very physical offensive game. Like he reverse checks, meaning he's going to win a race to a puck. Someone's going to want to run Albin down. He's actually going to be the one that delivers a check to the defender. Hard.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard.
Lay him out.
Lays him out.
When he's supposed to be going into the board.
He comes out of those pucks and then he makes those plays he makes. I mean, that game tying goal, it doesn't count. I mean, there's a reason why it got to that point, even where Matt Miller got to the nets, because Albin got it out of the corner for them. So I think all those pieces, and you know what, Nelson's, it's quiet. Like if you don't appreciate the 10-foot, 20-foot play and consistent with it, and be a bear over the puck, then you're really, if you're looking for something super sexy, stick handle, jump around, that's not what he does. He does it the opposite way. He does it the hard way.
No, you get those guys too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. The Musketeer Coaches Show is right here at Bob Rose Point after on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS.
Pencils and notebooks.
Words right there. Do you know who that is? That is the public address announcer for the Sioux City Musketeers. That would be Eric Bishop from Z98 that takes care of me on those things. It makes it sound a little better that way instead of just chit-chatting right here. Who's going to be good? You saw a lot of hockey.
Hopefully the Cubs.
I was not talking about the team that might fall to the Rockies tonight.
Who's good? You know what? I think the West has got good balance for sure. They do.
Is there different styles between the two?
Man, it sure feels like it. Like the West just feels like they've got balance of scoring. They've got balance of defense. It feels like they're older. The East feels like it's more run, gun, loose, opportunistic. Happens great, doesn't, no problem.
More structured in the West?
There's probably more structure. I think there's more like
physicality.
Physicality, but the tightness I think between all of our teams out here makes us play pretty close to the best himself.
You have to play your best to win 2 points.
You do, and 2 points are going to be harder and harder to come by every time you play a team repeatedly. Which, in the West, we repeat each other so often that we become a pretty common opponent.
It's kind of interesting how you get better by playing great teams, and you do because and of course this is what I heard from different people. They thought Fargo was going to be awfully good again because they returned a number of players. Is that where you look at maybe, or you look at some of the other teams? I mean, it's so hard to judge on any records in preseason until you see them, and maybe. Do you judge them just based on how they play against you?
Well, I mean, for us, that's a big part of it. But, I mean, you look at the numbers, by the numbers type look, and you see Fargo's returning core, but then you see the picks that they got to pick up here over the summer.
They did well.
O'Reilly,
Didn't they get a couple of real good players from, say, Madison?
Yeah, O'Reilly and Mancinelli, and then, they get Crone to come back from college, which... Crone left the league scoring 70 points, so for him to be back here after playing 2 years of college is a big thing. So you got to look at them. I think you got to look at the West in general. I think it's just going to be a tight group.
Waterloo looks solid against Omaha.
Yeah, for sure. Waterloo's going to be good about what they do. Returning goaltender PK does a great job with this group. So, but I got to tell you, at the end of the day, I think we'll put our nose right where it belongs at the end of this thing.
Well, I expect, I guess, looking at it, and of course we're biased, being you can compare, but people that are fans see all the greatness of the Musketeers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be a fight. This team looks like it has age, experience, talent, all the way around to fight for the top of the West.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got some balance there. Obviously, health is going to be a big pending part of this whole thing. Keeping Brinker from not going back to Minnetonka will be a big battle of this.
Yeah, he got a title up there. Come on, Brinker.
I'm with you.
The skippers, come on.
We've got that part. You've got some tournament play, so if Paz keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to get on the Slovak World Junior team.
You're going to lose a couple games that way.
We're going to lose some guys on some of those opportunities, which they're fabulous career opportunities for those players, and we're not going to take those opportunities away from those players. We just have to be ready without them.
Well, get the wins while you can, while you have them.
Yeah, and that's part of it, I think, here. Just get off and running, and obviously, make us a good road team here early is going to be huge. And the beauty about playing at the road, there's some times where you can actually kind of play boring and get away with it. And I just don't think we've got a group that's wired up to play boring. That's for sure.
No, I think people are going to have fun with it. I just think this team is in a much better place than it was at this time last year. Just on experience and everything else in between. I mean, experience starts.
Experience, I think, for the players, I think our returning guys, the depth of our returning guys, let's put it that way. I mean, I'd take Ferner back pretty quick here.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. Guys you lost,
yeah.
But I think the guys that are returning now, there's so many of them that gained experience all year long. Your Babbages, your Johnsons, and I can keep going with it, that were complete rookies.
They were. And then, we've added Brady Smith, who's got games played. Josh Moline's got games played. You add those players that they end up being pretty valuable pieces here, all of a sudden adding 140 games to our roster.
Yeah, it gets funny, but yes. I mean, 60 games at a time is huge.
Yep.
And last year at this time, how many games were on the entire group in USHL?
That'd be a Jake stat, but it's going to be pretty minimal, I can tell you that.
Because, I mean, if you look at it, Sample played a half a year. Micah Miller was at school.
Kepke
was coming back from injury.
All those guys were 25 to 30 game guys. Mantero had his share of games. Ferns had his share of games.
Injured twice, too.
Exactly. So, just in comparison, you know what, even culturally, just having returning guys, the expectation, know-how, it's been a huge asset, I think, with the staff, adding abs, that part. And then you got a returning goalie. They get a league guy in Crosby that's been back here. So we know what to expect, and we know there's no shortcut to the expectation. And I think our older guys, our returning guys, can bravely say that no problem because they've been through it themselves already.
Well, for the Musketeer fans, they're going to get awfully anxious to get a home game in. And
Let's wait till October 20th.
Well, you got a lot of hockey before that. And
we sure do.
Got a game this week that's going to be at Green Bay. The next week, a Saturday at Cedar Rapids, and then a Thursday and Friday at Fargo before Saturday, the 20th against Waterloo. Do want to mention tickets on sale. Get on out there. I know they got a whole lot of different great prices. I know we're doing buck beers and a couple buck sodas, and there is a lot of stuff. And then remember the family 4-packs.
That first night's got some magnet schedules. It's got some jersey giveaway. There's some things of that nature. So
get it so the whole family can come out.
Yeah, and you know what?
It's nice.
There's nothing better for a player to play in than the atmosphere that Sioux City can provide. So the more the merrier, and it's an awesome experience for the guys.
Yeah, so definitely come on out. The 20th will be the home game, and until that, can't do anything about the schedule, but I'm guessing you would say, hey, love to have 2 games this weekend, 2 games next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get in some sort of rhythm about what's what. I mean, it is what it is. We have to make good with it, and we don't want rust to reek in. But I mean, if we practice as hard as we did today, I'm not worried about rust. I'm worried about healthy bodies if we keep doing that to each other all the time.
Yeah, how much physical contact do you guys have?
Today was nasty. Today was a hard 1-on-1, 2-on-2, small area, compete, body posture, battle. just to get our brain back around that thing. So now we can play faster throughout the rest of the week with that on top of it.
You comfortable with who you have on each line right now? And I know things change through the season.
They do. I think we've got balance right now for sure. I mean, would I expect someone to emerge that's going to provide more offense with Nelson? I would. I think right now you're going to see the youthful of Brock Baker. Maybe not scoring as much as he will the last 30 games, the first 30 games, but at the same time, he gives an exciting impact to what that group brings. I think you're going to see the Malcolms and Steinmetz of the world that you let them play against another team's third, fourth line, they're going to do well, and you let Matt Miller play against somebody else's third and fourth line, he's going to do well. So that balance is a big part. Yes, very much so. He played excellent on Saturday.
That's what you get for returning multi-year veteran like that.
You do, and
you
then
really get to the spot.
Then you get, bowling in addition to our group that's got a year under his belt. So all of a sudden you get a more veteran-feeling fourth group or a lower lineup, bottom six, that matters against the opposition for sure.
I know they're having, so the 20th, I got some stuff here. Home opener, 20th, they're having band and fun things like that. And
there's
stuff
band,
that you
burgers,
want.
beers out front.
Hot dogs, $3. Bratwurst, hamburgers, chips, domestic beers for a couple bucks. It's going to be festivities. Hopefully we have good weather. If not, who cares?
It's hockey, right?
Doesn't really matter. All that kind of stuff. So get ready. It's the 20th. And, Coach, time to go back to Cheese Curdsville. Wisconsin cheese curds. I hear they're bigger.
See, you're learning. You're learning, Curtis. I like your attitude, buddy.
I'll see you at the rink.
You got it.
Luke Strand is the head coach of the Sioux City Musketeers. Friday at Green Bay. Remember, we'll have it. Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS, Sioux City.